Hello everyone, Liverpool Smith here. It is Wednesday and I've got another Sabs Unmasked video, another double feature. Now, on Friday when I do this session, I'm going to be providing an update to this series because I want to make some changes in my schedule, so I'm going to be telling you a bit more about it when I do Friday's one. So, let's do Elizabeth Hart. November 28th, 2023, this was published. Updated May the 15th the following year. Location West Lothian. Affiliations Head of Scottish Border Sabs. Ugh. Before turning to sabbing around the Scottish borders, Elizabeth Hart used to be a head teacher of Field Court's Infants Academy in I can't even fucking pronounce that. From January 2005 to June 2014, almost 10 years. Her time in pastoral care, however, is further tainted by irregularities surrounding financial management of school funding. Oh, she's been using school funds for herself. Several years after Hart left Fields Courts, Gloucestershire Live and the Western Daily Press broke the news to the public in March 2019 that Hart had spent over £18,000 on unnecessary school products during her time as headmistress. Now we know why she wanted to work as a headmistress then. In accordance with the teacher's disciplinary dyslexic, England Regulations Act 2012, a professional conduct panel of the Teaching Regulation Agency concerned between 8 and 10 October 2018, 9 and 11th of January 2019, and again on the 15th of January 2019, to assess Hart's alleged misconduct on behalf of the Secretary of State of Education on the following grounds, and on the following grounds. 1. Hart was responsible for irregular. Right, give me 1 second. My throat's clogged up. 1 second. Right, hopefully it won't bother me that much again, because that was horrible. I had an ice cream, and for some reason it went down thick. It wasn't that good in the end. Hart was responsible for irregularities in the financial management of the school, in that she made purchases or payments using school funds which were unreasonable, in that they were not solely for the benefit of the school and/or did not represent the value of money for the school, including but not limited to £3,800 at independent stores/retailers, spending approximately £5,000 at supermarkets, and making 43 purchases at high-end stores such as Marks and Spencer and Harvey Nichols, making approximately 95 purchases during the school holidays, spending £225 at Apple iTunes between February 2014 and August 2012 and 2013, failed to present receipts and or invoices for approximately 320 transactions between January 2012 and January 2014. 3. Collected money within the school for staff gifts purchased using school charge card, but failed to reimburse the school's fund. 4. Her conduct at 1, 2 and 3 above lacked irregularity and/or was dishonest. Miss Hart did not admit the facts. The allegations were taken had not been admitted. After investigation, the panel determined Hart to be guilty of unacceptable professional misconduct, ruling that Hart to be prohibited from teaching indefinitely and working in any school, sixth form, college, relevant youth accommodation, or at children's homes in England. Furthermore, the panel's decision maker decided that Miss Hart shall not be entitled to apply for restoration of her eligibility to teach, consulting a permanent ban. She fucked that up, didn't she? Misconduct and consequential delusionment has led Hart to prolific stabbing ventures. Okay, on to the next fucking job. Now a disqualified teacher, Hart had more time on her plate to dedicate to being a public nuisance. Only in January 2023, a legal case was being brought against Hart and another Sab compatriot for illegally trespassing land and refusing to leave in order to disrupt a legally sanctioned hunt. The first offence occurred at the Cotsfield farm on the 2nd of February 2022 and the second at the Philiphaven estate near Selkirk on February 26. Okay, so she's basically from being a con artist to a public nuisance, essentially. It's like, come on, Elizabeth, get a proper job. On to the next one, Gemma Barnes. I believe I did this one, but I can't remember if I did or not. November 23rd, 2023, updated October 10th, 2024. Location Norwich, Norfolk. Affiliations Norwich Sabs. And let me just get my recording levels real quick. That is fine. Accusations of theft. Gemma Barnes is an infamous animal rights activist based in Norwich whose impassioned activism has veered over into criminal behaviour. That is where I've heard of her before. I saw an article. She steals animals from people's land. That's how I heard of her. On the 11th of April 2023, Barnes took to social media to post an array of images showing herself posing with lambs and claimed that they have been liberated. Following this, Barnes was then accused of illegally stealing a lamb and causing unnecessary suffering to an animal. That's the thing, it died in her care. She stole it and it died. Like, seriously, she's a fucking idiot. Subsequently, she was remanded in custody and granted bail on the 23rd of May. Barnes has since refused to say where the lambs were taken from or where they are now, separating them from their mothers. However, would have caused extreme distress, the court was told. Witness harassment charges. On the 23rd of May, only minutes after being granted bail, fucking hell, it didn't take her that long then, at Norwich Crown Court, Barnes immediately went to an animal rights protest in Norwich Livestock Market, together with fellow activist Eleanor Kenny from Willenham. Thereafter, the pair was accused of intimidating police officers in a separate case of harassment. Barnes and Kennedy were accused of harassing two police officers who were tasked with managing the protest. The pair took videos and photos of the officers and posted them to social media without their consent. Crown Prosecutor Nishama, Indian lady, later told the court that both were heavily involved with animal rebellion protests with prior accusations, and are known to target opponents by posting about them on social media. Posting slander, in other words. Barnes was remanded in custody again at Norwich Magistrates Court on the 26th of May, where she was due to remain until a court hearing on the 23rd of June. However, after a week behind bars, she successfully applied to be released on bail at a hearing on the 2nd of June. In a private message to Behind the Mask on 27th of September 2024, Barnes claimed that she has been cleared of two charges, or of the charge of witnessing intimidation with regards, in her own words, to those two mouth-breathing thicker shit coppers. That's another one that can get you done. Criminal damage. On the 15th of October, the Animal Rebellion Group coordinated a nationwide illegal protest action in stores including Waitrose, Whole Foods and Marks and Spencer. Protests kicked off shortly before midday on the Saturday. Barnes gladly took up the lead in Norwich. At the rampant Horse Street M&S store at 11:45 a.m. Bloody hell, they get up early for these things. I thought they sleep until like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Two activists, and one being Barnes, took bottles of milk from the shelves and emptied them all over the floor. But that was a fucking wasted twat. And the meat counter to highlight the need to support farmers in a transition to a sustained plant-based food system. In May 2023, Barnes was given a conditional discharge for criminal damage in her part of the milk pouring protest. Contempt of court accusation. At another court hearing on the 11th of August, Barnes was accused of being contempt of court. At the hearing, it is alleged she swore at a prosecution barrister at Norwich Crown Court, branding him an arsehole in the corridor. Consequently, she was summoned to court again on the 15th of November. Bloody hell, I hope they gave her a badge in their parking space. She's in court all the fucking time. Chris Ewell, the Crown prosecutor, said that Barnes made the remark in the vicinity of the prosecution barrister Jude Durr. He further said that Barnes accepted she may have said these words, and if she did, she regrets it. Barnes told Behind the Mask on the 27th of September 2024 that this allegation was a total non-starter. Fringe beliefs. Across her social media accounts, Barnes promotes a variable word salad of ill-conceived fringe political views. These include anti-naturalism, the belief that the human race should no longer procreate, all cops are bastards, and the anti-work movement. In other words, she's a dull scum. She wants to be a dull scum for the rest of her life, it sounds like. So, that has been it for these other two morons. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like I said, I will be providing a little update regarding this series on Friday, because I want to try and reset my schedule a little bit. So, that'll be it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.